Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing good. It is a beautiful Saturday morning, and I'm going to put my screen on if I can find it. I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Candace Cordelia. I am a columnist and a host with Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I am joined here with two of my illustrious speakers for the South by Southwest uh, panel that I had at the event last month in Austin, Texas. We have Yolanda, the designer. Hi, Yolanda.
Hello, Candace. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I can't even find oddly, my camera. It's okay. Oh, you know what? I
You
found
can do
it.
it.
Unreal. So nice to see you. And we also have King Troi, a small fashion stylist to
Yo, yo, yo. Y'all hear me?
wrestling stars. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, fire.
Love it.
Sorry, I think I'm going to you gotta give me a couple
Remain.
seconds to put my face on the camera.
It's
Okay, okay,
And I'm
okay.
gonna I'm in the middle of a fitting. I'm not in the middle of a fitting, I'm heading to a fitting. Um
always on the move. Always.
Always on the go.
so whatever. So I'm it's mania season, so I have a mania fitting today. A very important
Ooh.
one. So I will be on camera, but I'll be in the car. So give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah, we don't.
No problem.
I'm still, I wanted to be a part of this. So let's
Thank you
use.
so much, Troy. We don't want you to get in an accident, and what you're doing is important work right now. So thank you so much for being here with us. And I know Sarath is going to be on his way. He's just finishing up something very important, but he will be here as well. So for all those who are in the chat room, make sure to send your questions. This is a very unique event. You might not have this opportunity again to talk with these amazing, talented, wonderful gear designers, fashion designers, stylists within the wrestling industry. So any questions you have, please make sure to put them in the chat. Please also be respectful of everyone. And we always welcome good vibes. So thank you for having us, for being with us today and supporting us, because this is really, I want to make sure that we give a spotlight to those working behind the scenes and creating the amazing looks that you see on a weekly basis on television. So kudos to everyone involved. All right. And we are going to certainly get on with the show. So kick back, make sure you have your snacks, your beverages, make sure you're all cozied up. It is very dreary outside where I
Oh,
am.
Candace, that was good. That felt like a TV show. Like sit back, relax, grab your snacks. Okay. I
Right, right. That flow was
was like,
flowing.
oh, okay, let's go.
Gotta make the transition. Gotta make the transition. Oh, and before we get into the panel, so let me just also give a background, because it's hard sometimes keeping up. There's so much going on. As Troi was saying, this is WrestleMania season. But if you were not in Austin last month for the panel, or if you weren't able to see some of the live stream clips, I want to make sure that you have a really good idea of who you're going to be seeing on the panel and also here in the chat. So King Troi, as stated previously, very quickly, fashion stylist to a lot of the wrestling stars. You've seen his work on a number of wrestlers, such as Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I'm sure Troi has a lot more surprises up his sleeves going into WrestleMania season and beyond. But certainly a lot of the looks that you see on these superstars are accountable to King Troi's hard work in pulling looks, going to showrooms, doing all the deals. It's fantastic. And then we have Yolanda, the designer, who is a veteran in this game. I mean, more than 20 years being not just a wrestling designer. Exactly. Got to give her flowers.
Yes.
Not, and this is very important to know, not just a wrestling designer, but a fashion designer. So Yolanda is actually trained in fashion design. She and Yolanda, please chime in if I've missed anything. Oh, we have a comment by Nita Nitro. This is very cool to see. You guys are super talented. Troi killing it with the double denim last week on Zeth. Yes, we saw that.
Right?
That was sick. That
Thank
was
you.
sick. So Yolanda, fashion designer as well. She is very skilled in what she does. And I'm so excited for you all to hear what she has to say on the panel. So please also do send comments and questions her way, especially if anyone in this chat does want to do what either Troi or Yolanda or Sarath does on a daily basis. If you have dreams of being a fashion designer, a wrestling designer, or gear designer, I should say, a stylist to wrestlers, please feel free to ask questions in the chat, because this is your chance to get that one-on-one time with everyone and to be inspired as well as informed today. So thank you for your comments, Nita Nitro. So kind, and please do send more as we get into it. Is there anything I missed out? I mean, I could go on and on, but I definitely want to kick off the panel. Anything else, Troi, Yolanda, you want to add before we get started?
Thank you for highlighting us. Thank you for this love. Like, again, being it's always good to be the first class of anything. So being the first class on that panel, I'm wearing the shirt right now too. The South by Southwest shirt. But
Love
I
it.
feel like it's not shocking, but it's like, wow, I really just did South by Southwest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
We made history. We made
thank you
history.
for this, for making me feel like a forefather or something.
You are. You are a forefather. You all, and this goes also to Sarath, who will be joining us shortly. I mean, what you all are doing
The legend.
is just extraordinary, and we appreciate you and we see what you're doing. So your hard work is not in vain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel the same way. Um, on my end, it's a touch different because the challenges to forge this path,
Yeah.
you know, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
I can finally say it's worth
And we're going to hear about those
it.
challenges and more, definitely, definitely on the panel. So without further ado, I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to,
Oh wait, can I
yeah,
do this disclaimer, please?
of course.
My mouth is swollen, y'all. My mouth is swollen. I look crazy. So don't be joking. Like, what's wrong? Why he talking like this? What's wrong with him? My mouth was swollen. I was in pain.
Oh, plus we couldn't even
You know
tell.
what's so
We
funny?
couldn't even tell
I'm like,
Troy.
I'm like, is his mouth still swollen? I forgot you trying to tell people not to clock you
Yes,
on here.
yes. I want to be like, why he talk like that? What's wrong with him? Why is his mouth like that? So
Troy,
that's
until
a
you said
disclaimer.
anything, we really did not have a clue at all, because you have such beautiful IG phones. Didn't see it. Seriously.
Thank you. Okay.
For
All right.
real. Okay, I'm going to squeeze, and thank you for the disclaimer, Troy. I'm going to squeeze us over to the left-handed side, and we are going to get started. So everyone, have fun watching. Please make sure to send your comments, questions in the chat below, and we'll do our best to answer them as we continue on with the show. Three illustrious persons within the wrestling industry and also in fashion. And we're going to get to know them better today and to talk about their career journeys, how they got started in the wrestling industry with wardrobe design, styling, and so much more. And then also they can impart some advice for those who are interested in getting into their line of work. So before we get started, I'm going to do a brief introduction. I have to my far right, LA-based stylist, King Troi.
Hello.
And then I have next to King Troi, Sarath Ton, seamster and wardrobe designer. You have most likely seen his designs on, especially nowadays, WWE television. Thank you for coming through. And then last but not least, I have the lovely, the fantastic Yolanda, the designer. She is a veteran in this game. She works not only as a wrestling designer, but also as a fashion designer. And you have definitely seen her work, most notably, without saying, you've seen her work on Cody Rhodes for WrestleMania 39. The robe that he wore, she designed that. So thank you, Yolanda. All right, so we are going to kick things off first with Sarath. I'm putting you
All right, let's get started.
So starting with you, Sarath, I mean, you have logged in a lot of hours in this industry and you're very hardworking. Before this panel, you were telling us that afterwards you're going to be jet setting to Barcelona and
Yeah, I landed last night at midnight because my flight got canceled coming from, where was I last night? Where was SmackDown? Anybody remember where SmackDown was? Philly. Okay, so I was in Philly on Friday night. Then my flight got canceled at midnight last night. I have an 8:15 flight tonight because I have to go home and pack because I have to go to Barcelona at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So, yeah, no sleep.
Yeah, no sleep, no rest for the hardworking and the equally talented. So first, my question for you, Sarath, is you started off as a professional wrestler, and then you found yourself getting into wardrobe design for professional wrestlers. So how did that journey start for you?
So when I trained to be a professional wrestler, it was summer 2000. I was still in high school, junior, going into senior year. So I joined a wrestling school, and back then the Hardy Boys were huge. And I used to have this videotape called Leap of Faith. And in the videotape, Matt Hardy talks about making his own gear for him and Jeff. So I was like, oh, if he could do it, I could do it. So in my senior year of high school, I took a sewing class, and they taught me how to use a machine. And as soon as I graduated, I hit the road, started wrestling, and I just started buying fabric and teaching myself how to. And every time I learned something new, I would tell my friends, hey, I know how to make this now. And then that's how I would build up my repertoire of things I could do. But pretty much just about 90% of everything I make is it's stuff I taught myself how to do. I have no formal training other than, learning how to make pajamas in high school.
Wow, that is, I don't even know how to sew. So the fact that you taught yourself how to make this gear is just, it's phenomenal. I mean, what goes into that is it a matter of looking at certain videos, or did you have anyone in your family that also was good at doing this that you were able to look at? Like, what actually goes into self-teaching yourself how to make wardrobe?
So my mom had a sewing machine. This is old Singer from like 1970. You could go one straight stitch, one zigzag stitch, that was it. But it could go through anything. And so I would literally go out to go to like closet, and I'd buy a jacket, and then I'd take it apart, and then I'd try to put it back together, and then I was like, okay, now I know how to do this. And again, I have no formal training on how to make patterns or take measurements, so a lot of the stuff I do, it's done in a way so that I can read it. So if I were to give it to Yolanda or Troi, it might look like chicken scratch, but to me, it's my schematics. And so, sometimes you see something on someone, you're like, all right, so I have a story. When Corey Graves was in NXT, he asked me to make him a pair of skinny jeans. And I'd never make jeans in my life. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I got you, I can do it. He walked away. I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. So I went home, just grabbed a pair of my jeans, and I looked at it, and I'm like, all right, I can figure this out. And lo and behold, I helped make his look for NXT for a while.
That is amazing. And that's such a great story and a testament to what you can do when you put your mind to it. And even if you don't know, you just fake it till you make it, pretty much. So, yeah. So from that point forward, Sarath, how did you then get to the point where you are now? You're traveling the world and you're making designs for so many wrestlers. I mean, if you look at the screenshot of everyone on this panel and just the designs that you've made, you've worked with so many amazing wrestlers, and you still do to this day. So how do you exactly get to that point in your career?
So a lot of for a lot of wrestling fans who know, I used to be married to Sasha Banks, who's Mercedes Moné now. And for a while, I was making a lot of indie wrestlers gear, my own. And in 2012, when she got signed, I quit my job. to make ice cream at Friendly's Ice Cream Factory. I don't know if anyone's from the Northeast, but cookies and cream ice cream is the best. But yeah, so I quit my job, moved to Florida, and I didn't have a job. I was just making her tights and just helping her, progress and helping support her in any way possible. And so to help keep some extra income coming in, I decided to just start making tights for some of the wrestlers. I made Mojo Rawley, Ethan Carter, Showtime, Percy Watson. And then I slowly started building up a client list at WWE to the point where in 2015, I was asked by the then head of TR, Mark Carano, to come in and help out with WrestleMania for 2 months. So I was like, all right, let me put a pause on wrestling. Because at the same time, I was still wrestling, trying to make it in wrestling too. And I put a pause on wrestling, decided to do that for 2 months. And after the 2 months, they're like, hey, we like you. We want to sign you on for another year. So I was like, you know what? I've been wrestling for 15 years. I'm getting beat up, traveling Massachusetts to North Carolina to wherever to wrestle. I was like, let's give this a try. So I started working backstage with WWE, and 6 months in, they're like, hey, we want to extend you 3 years. And I've just been there ever since. And I don't regret it at all. I still miss wrestling, but I still get the same kind of like creative gratification working backstage.
Yeah. Nice.
So what does a typical day in the life, or week, I should say, because we're basically in WrestleMania season. It's always, for anyone involved in wrestling, it's a really hectic time regardless. But for you, what does a week in your life look like at this time of year?
I mean, the biggest adjective to explain this time of year for me is just restless. Like I'm literally 3 hours of sleep a night. Just I'm on planes, off of planes, working as long as I can because at this time of year things just get more elaborate. Nowadays the gear is so elaborate that like it's kind of like that all year long. But during WrestleMania season, from Royal Rumble up to WrestleMania, everybody's trying to really step it up and really elevate their looks. So in doing, and then you have like this personal connection, especially being as a wrestler. Like I want people to look as good as they can be during this time of year, because for some of them it might be the only time they get to be on a WrestleMania in their life. So I'm gonna do everything I can to help make it come to fruition, which also means me just not sleeping much. There's been nights where I am sewing during Mania week. I'm sewing, and instead of going back up to my room to sleep, I'll sleep underneath my table for an hour or two, and then get back up and keep working. Because I know if I go to my hotel room, that's 6 hours. I'm going to be asleep. So I can't afford that time away. So it's a lot of that. Work out when I can, get a run in when I can, but for the most part, it's just the sewing machine.
Where do you find the energy, Sarath? Even listening to this, it's amazing that you're able to, because being a creative person, there's so much brain power that goes into this, and you're working with your brains, your hands, everything. Where do you get the energy from in order to do what you do?
I feel like the years on the indies like really kind of primed me for it. So my schedule normally when I was on the indies was I would work overnights making ice cream, and then on a Friday morning, I'd get out of work at 7 a.m., sleep for 2 hours, shower, drive to wherever I have to wrestle that evening. Sometimes I'd have overtime, so wrestle at 6 o'clock at night, and then drive, from Philly back to Massachusetts because I got to be at work for 10 p.m., work through the night, and I do that all weekend. And it was that schedule for 10 plus years. So after that, when your brain is just so used to running at that RPM, anything slower than that just makes you feel like you're not working. So like sometimes it's almost like, hey,
Hello, everyone. I just paused really quickly because we have our other, as he was talking in the panel that you saw, we have our final panelist, Sarath, who I am. There you are.
Finally.
Wanted to
Finally.
get you in and give you your props. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, you came at the right time.
Oh, dude, it's been a long night. I was on a red eye from Seattle, landed, had to go get that's not my smoke alarm. Just so you guys know, that noise, that wasn't mine. That's someone else's. But no,
All good.
I just flew. I just flew in from Seattle, and then I landed. Had to go get an oil change. It just took a little longer, and then there was traffic. So finally back home. But I got enough time to hop on here, and as soon as I'm done here, it's right back to the workshop, so I can keep working on this Mania stuff.
Yes, you as on the panel, you were just talking about how hectic WrestleMania season is, and divine timing. I love it. And just really quickly, for everyone that's just tuned in, we are over 130 viewers strong. This is amazing.
Oh, hell, that's awesome.
This is amazing. I'm so happy for all of you, and we see Troi in the car, risking it all in the car driving.
Troy's like he's about to go beat someone up with that bandana on.
I'm like, it's okay, be safe. But yes, for everyone tuning in, thank you so much. We have King Troi, Sarath, who just joined us, Yolanda, the designer. I am Candace Cordelia from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I had to pause so that we can intro Sarath in. I briefly gave a background of you, Sarath, but for those who are not familiar with Sarath Ton's work, a lot of what you see currently when we talk about being a seamster, gear designing, Sarath is a part of that team for WWE specifically. So like he said, he is hard at work. We are in WrestleMania season. It's not a game. WrestleMania is literally, I think, 6 days away or 7 days away, which is unreal to think about.
Yeah, about that. Just please keep those numbers high, because the more days you take away, the less time I got to work, and the hours are dwindling.
There you go. He's like, it's 20 days away. It's 20 days.
Yeah.
So thank you all. Is there anything you wanted to add, Sarath, before we get back into, as you were talking on the panel that we had at South by Southwest?
Nothing specific, but just for everybody who's actually tuning in and listening right now, like, first of all, thank you guys for even taking an interest in what we do, because this is, for me as a child who loved wrestling, like the costumes and that aspect of the whole industry is something that, like, I think it's so memorable, but doesn't get nearly as much love, as it's happening. When you go in hindsight, yeah, you remember all those amazing outfits and the look of the wrestlers and all that stuff. But at the time, people are so caught up in the storylines, which they should be, that sometimes that aspect of it, kind of gets lost or just kind of like gets pushed to the side. But when you really like delve deep into it and look at it and see how the look of a wrestler can help move along a story, you realize how much it actually like plays into the memories it's creating for you.
I love that. So eloquently stated, Sarath. And thank you. And to you, to Troi, to Yolanda, this time of year is so hectic, but it's exciting. It's pretty much the holiday season for wrestling fans. So it's really exciting seeing what you all come up with, the genius that you have percolating in your brains and then materializing it into real life form. It's fabulous to see. So we're excited to see what you all whip up for.
Oh, wow. I mean, I can't wait for you guys to see. I can't wait for some of the things to pop up, but I'm curious to see how everybody either reacts to it or like what kind of emotional connections you make with the look of a wrestler, specifically on the grandest stage of them all,
Yes. And before we get back into the panel, make sure if you're tuning in that you hit on that comment section. Please, this is your chance to actually ask all of our panelists questions, especially if you want to be a fashion designer, want to design gear for wrestlers. This is the chance to ask those really important questions for your own benefit. Anything that you want to ask, any great comments you have, make sure you post them in the comments and we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah,
we get
definitely.
right back into it. And thank you all for tuning
in. And it's a bad habit, but sometimes I'll push stuff off to the last minute or hold it off because that whole go mode is what makes me feel like you make decisions that you can't sit there and lollygag on decisions. Sometimes when you're in that go mode, it's just, hey, make a decision, go, and get it out.
Wow. So when you have some time off, Sarath, what do you like to do when you're creating?
Play with my dog. I have a little corgi named Ryu. He's my world, and like he gets top billing over everyone else. So when I'm not at home, like when I'm home, we're at dog parks, we're going for walks. I live in Orlando, so I go out to the springs, I go paddle boarding, anything to get away. Like when I'm not at work or when I'm not in wrestling mode, I detach from everything. I feel like my brain is so wired for it that when I'm at home, if I let it, it'll just consume me. So I purposely just shut away. You'll find me at a barcade just killing people in Tekken Tag. That's about it.
Love it. I love a good barcade moment. That's awesome. One thing that you said, a key word, elaborate, which once I get to Yolanda as well, this is something I'm going to pose to you and also to Troi. But I thought the word elaborate struck out to me because as we've seen, especially on social media, a lot of wrestling fans are really noticing the intricacies of what you all do, whether it's wardrobe design or styling, and they're finding even little Easter eggs that they're tying into storylines just based on the creations that you make. So when we're talking about the elaboration, what does that look like in collaboration with the folks that you work with, and is there some sort of synergy that happens?
I mean, with some talent, they have a very specific idea of what they want their gear to look like. So you work with them in order to make that come to light. Some people will completely trust your judgment. You've worked with them long enough that they know that you're not going to steer them wrong. So they'll be like, hey, like these kind of the colors I want. Let's go to town. For prime example, with Troi, for Mania against Cody, I had sent them a picture of Prince in lace. I said, hey, this is kind of what I wanted for set this year. And they were all like, yeah, let's go with it. And I feel like with that, it's like one of the most out of the box outfits that we did for a guy. And to me, that was one of those moments that really opened up the fashion world and the high fashion kind of look with wrestling tights. Because back then it was mostly just spandex and your run of the mill kind of looks with some Swarovski crystals and things like that. But once we started doing the lace, I feel like that really opening up the creativity and the avenue in which we could take people's gear and their looks.
And elevate it. That's really cool. That's fascinating. And I'm going to revert to Yolanda, and I'll get back to you, Sarath, and then Troi, because this conversation, you're welcome. This conversation is amazing, and even I'm learning a lot as well, because a lot of this is new to me also as a wrestling fan. But Miss Yolanda, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing very well. And I wanted to revert to you because, once again, that key word, elaboration. I mean, you've been doing this, both wrestling design and fashion, for years. And you're a Philly girl like myself. We come with a different flavor, coming from Philadelphia. And it seems like you really put your all into the work that you do, and it shows, and people have responded dearly to your work on social media and beyond. For you, Yolanda, how did you get started in this game, moving from fashion design to designing for wrestlers as well?
Ooh, so let's see. All right, so the fans, it's a test of time. Just to point this out, this Shawn Michaels shirt I bought when I was 15 years old. Out the WWF magazine. You know what I mean? So this is vintage, honey. So, but I also wanted to be, as much as I love pro wrestling, I knew I wanted to be a fashion designer since I was 7. And so that was like first and foremost, right? So I get my degree from Moore in 03, go straight to New York to work in the design industry there. And around 08, 06, 07, I learned about independence, fall in love with independence. But then at that time, unfortunately, a lot of the WWE merchandise, so what's the WWF then, was slacking. It was not worth the $30 that they were charging at the time. The best shirt was a Morrison shirt. And I was debating around then, should I do design for pro wrestlers, or should I come out with a t-shirt brand? And funny enough, I had advice from Claudio Castelli, and he said the t-shirt's easier. Now, yeah, I come from a fashion background. I've worked at Echo and Hurley and Coogee and brands like that. So like screen printing and that knowledge is like tight. So all right, let's do this. So unbeknownst to me, in '08, I decided to become to launch a wrestling alternative brand, which was the first wrestling alternative brand. And I was called Gimmicks Wrestling Tees. And one of my main popular t-shirts was the Future Endeavored t-shirt, because everybody gets Future Endeavored. So it was more turned into empowerment than everybody being upset when they got let go. And I Love Heels shirt and a couple other shirts. And then fast forward 2012, I want to say, there's more people coming out the woodwork with their own wrestling t-shirts, which is fine, but a lot of people are stealing from each other. And I know me. And because I can't come to your house and go stop stealing my stuff, and also I'm starting to, a little fast forward. So a year in or maybe two, wrestlers are seeing I have a merch table at shows. I'm slinging merch, as I would call it. And I'm taking it from Philly all the way to Providence, Rhode Island, all kinds of stuff. And they're like, can you do this for me? So I shortly turned from a brand to be able to provide a product and a service. So I'm designing wrestling t-shirts for people. I'm getting them printed from screen printers, whether I try to find local ones. And within their price point so they can make a profit, and also in their branding. I'm thinking about that as well with them, right? Because that's instilled in me with my number one love, fashion design. So yeah, fast forward to everybody copying off each other. It was those Bullet Club t-shirts that did it. That Bullet Club t-shirt era, everybody was copying off each other. And I was like, no ma'am. Let me get out of this. So funny enough, I designed gear for Sarah Del Rey. I did make it's a guy named Vin Gerard. I never heard of him, but he was definitely one of my favorite independents at a certain time, and I made gear for him. I mean, I made it, not designed it. It's two different things. So to me, that world is two different things: made, create, design. So I made his gear as a patchwork gear, and I did patchwork from scratch. And I said, this is not for me. I don't got the patience for it, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I've designed stuff that's been in Peace and Blue with the Lord and Ellis. I'm good with that. You know what I mean? And so, but I made the true transition. I want to say it was when Claudio got signed. So Claudio used to be Cesaro in WWE, and he was my first WWE gear that I ever designed for. And around between that time, 2014 or whatever, is when I said, yeah, I think 2015, something like that. I was like, yeah, I'm done. We're just going to design wrestling gear because nobody can copy off of me. Oh, fast forward 2019, I'm looking around and going, what? There is some people that have stole, copied. I don't know if we ever get to that conversation, but I have seen it. I have seen you. I know who you are. I haven't came at you because I'm trying to be a graceful queen. But I'm a real rap. I've seen it. I've seen
a whole other
literally take my drawings and like retrace them or Photoshop them out and put stuff within, not thinking I can clock it. I know my work. So rewind. So what had me start doing pro wrestling design was like going full forward is because I couldn't take people stealing off of each other. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want anybody stealing off of me. So let's go into gear design where I can be even more creative. But man, was that a struggle because at the time I was the first. I was the first. Yes, I was. I was first in a couple things in this. I am a veteran, right? So there was no designer when I was around. It was only gear makers. And the gear makers then would not listen to, well, not all of them. Some of them, most of them, would not listen to me because they didn't know that my fashion design background meant I knew what I was talking about. So I had to really fight hard to get people to create what I envisioned. And I would give them everything. I would give them measurements, fabric choices, all kinds of stuff. It's like in the fashion world, it's something called a tech pack. You know, You give the whoever's sewing, manufacturing, give them all the information. They just do it. They don't got to think. And that's what I was providing people, but they were so ignorant. And realizing I'm here, I'm giving you gold. I'm giving you the key, the plug, the cheat code, that they would just do their own thing. And it took a while to get respect in that regard, but I definitely had to fight for that. So I hope I answered your question.
You answered it beautifully. In fact, you struck on something too that I'll pose to all three of you to talk about, the differences between making, creating, and designing, because I don't think a lot of people, whether it's in wrestling or fashion, understand that there is a difference, and some people might conflate all three as being the same. If you don't mind talking about that and how important it is for others to know that there is a market difference. And then you also talked about people stealing designs, and I'm sure it sounds like that's a huge problem in the industry that we don't know about per se. So for all three of you, please, we would love to hear more about those differences in your experiences within all three.
Troi, you haven't
Yeah,
said that
Troi,
yet.
go for it.
Troi, let's go.
You go
Let's
first.
go, dog.
You have the
because let me
floor.
tell you, baby,
We want to hear from you.
Hello. Hey, y'all.
King Troi.
So. Well, I'm a stylist, fashion stylist out of Los Angeles or whatever. But anyways, to piggyback on what Candace said. Well, I design. I don't make it. So I don't sew. I just have a vision. So I'll get either with an illustrator or I'll get a bunch of different inspirations and put them together and send it to a designer and say, hey, this is what I want. And then, of course, I do the fashion styling with the looks for like Monday night, doing like interviews or promos, stuff like that. So that's styling, actually putting the outfit together, going out and finding different pieces that are either wild or, simple, and putting the outfit together. Yeah. So that's the difference between the design and the style. I design it, I don't actually make it or create it. That makes sense. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
And as someone that actually creates it, I don't. And this is nothing like towards Yolanda or anything like that. But like I know there's instances sometimes where talent or a wrestler will come to us with a design that was designed by someone else, but the body form that it's drawn on is not the same body type as the talent themselves. So there's you got to acquiesce to some of it. Some of it you have to just change up, because if you're looking at it, if it's made exactly how it is, it's just not going to hit their body, right? And there's a thing with lines on the form where you can change the way a person looks simply by how the lines and how the colors hit their body. Yeah. And so there's times where we will see, or I'll see gear that's made by someone else that came from a designer, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I like it, but there's too much lines on your legs. It's making you look short. It's making you look squatty. Whoever made it, they should have moved the lines that are on your thigh up a little higher to your pelvis. That'll elongate your legs and make you look taller, because you're only 4'10", 5'1". So it's ways of trying to change a person's look to accentuate their body type. And so that's some of the friction sometimes that comes between designers and makers, where somebody will hand a maker something and it's just, they'll use their I'd say their intuition or whatever to say, hey, like that might not be flattering for your body type. Can we change your direction a little bit so you can accentuate your form a little more?
Nice.
And I definitely would add to that. Well, let's sum up, class. Styling, meaning that the clothes are already made and you are picking them from either a store or I'm losing my atelier or showroom. That's what I wanted to say. From showrooms, fashion shows, stuff of that nature. It's already made. You pick it with your creativity to put it together, because everybody don't know how to style. Yeah. So that is an art. So that's number one. Two, the designer. We draw it in some shape or form, whether it's by hand or computerized, and there's a good chance that we give it to somebody to make, whether it's for one person, a client, or manufacturing, right? And then you have somebody who is a creator or makes the gear or the design or the outfit or what have you. And then you got some people who can do it all. And I ain't gonna lie, there's people who can do it all. I'm not one of them, and that's all right.
There's a lot of patience that comes with this, so I feel you. Some days I'm like, I don't want to sit here.
Yeah. But funny enough, for many years, majority of my career, I would be like the liaison, and that's the service that I offer. Like, I'm gonna take your pain away, pro wrestler, because a lot of y'all don't know how to have a communication with their gear maker. So, because I work in the fashion world and I have to communicate to the manufacturer all the time, that's nothing for me. So that's what I would do, which was weird and strange. Nobody was used to that either. People were used to just talking to the source, but the source may not really understand what they want or can ask or answer your questions. And so I was able to provide that for majority of makers. So the ones that really came out good was the ones that actually had a conversation with me versus the one that just took the design and did whatever they wanted. And then the one downfall for me is that I am used to having like some type of pattern or specs, like true specs, and then designing within that tolerance. But with the gear design, I'm not, because I'm not making it. So like so I try to be very mindful, and when I do my CADs, which are computer aided designs, but see, I'm about to be. I'm not trying to be shady. I'm not trying to be because I'm about to say. So that's a fashion thing, CADs. So when I know I say I'm the first and all that stuff, but I truly am, because it came from fashion design, is where I came from, and so there's certain ways how you're supposed to draw these CADs, and so I was just trained scale, proportion, and all that. But it's easier when you know the specs. Yeah. Oh, it's so much easier when you know the specs. But when you don't, they can go awry. But then you hope you're working with a great gear maker that can make it work. Yeah. So I know that some things might not happen or something got to be revised, and that's okay. Long as they respect the integrity of at least my design, because I do know someone I'm talking about. Funny enough, we do have I don't want to put this person on blast, but I'll just say this. There's one particular wrestler that I wish I had the specs for. I wish I had
all the secrets here.
Whoa. I'm not going to say the name. I'm not. But Sarath made the gear for them. And but because I did not have the specs for it, it was a certain line work that did not, that fell on the crotch. And Sarath took the time to message me on Instagram to have that dialogue. Yeah. And I was cool with that, because I don't know, I'm not making it. So once he told me, I said, okay, cool, whatever. If I have to adjust the design for that, or you're telling me because you have to adjust it due to your pattern based on his measurements, I don't care. Yeah. But that's respect. And so, yeah.
And one of the pluses of having like a stylist and a designer is that, someone like me who's in that wrestling bubble, comes from wrestling, sometimes your brain just works in wrestling. You revert to designs you've seen before, stars, lightning bolts, things like that. And these guys coming from the fashion world, they're bringing in eyes and inspiration that comes not from them. So even, Troi styling Seth the way he does makes me go, oh, I can go a little, more flamboyant or a little more wild with his looks. It's a good way to get inspiration into your world without having to, go out physically and go do all the research yourself. You can just see what they're bringing forward, and it just kind of drives what you're doing with the actual gear that they're going to wrestle in.
Yeah,
we're pushing this great.
There you go. I feel like I'm getting a master class in fashion in general, as if I'm at Parsons or something. So this is fantastic, because I'm learning so much, and I hope you all are learning a lot too. I want to definitely put a spotlight on King Troi, because you are doing something that, as far as I'm concerned, we haven't seen before in wrestling. There are other stylists that work with the wrestlers, but you have pretty much turned yourself into this empire that I'm seeing just explode in wrestling. And on social media, every time Seth Rollins comes out, everyone's like, King Troi, you did it again. So talk to us about your journey, because you come from an entertainment world, you've worked with celebrities. You recently worked once again with Nene Leakes for the Live at the Oscars. You were there, and we saw footage on your Instagram. And you work with prominent celebrities in entertainment, and now you're also working with prominent wrestlers in entertainment as well. So talk to us how you got started and how that journey really kicked off for you.
Okay, in the wrestling world.
Yes, or in general, like going from just how you got started in general, wanting to be a stylist, because styling, as Yolanda said, it's a hard job. It's a hard job, a mysterious job as well.
Yeah, I was living in Atlanta, and I just wanted, I was doing theater arts, so like I wanted to be an actor and do like good stuff. So I moved to Atlanta and thought I'd be doing that, and I ended up assisting a stylist on the music videos for like rappers, Gucci Mane, Waka Flocka, like the most popular people, like Monica, R&B artists, Monica, Fantasia, Jasmine Sullivan. So I've worked with all those guys. I wanted to act. I ended up styling. And then wrestling. Wrestling something I watched since I was a child, like 5 years old. Funny story, I was telling Candace last night how one of my mother's friends put on wrestling so I would like not be upset that she was going out to dinner. He was like, sit down here and watch this. And I'm like, no. And then I seen like a man being thrown in a body bag. It was like Undertaker and Ultimate Warrior. It was the weirdest shit. I was like, I said, this shit is weird. So I was like tuned in. So I was tuned in for like, I think it was like 2 hours. And when they got back, they was like, you still watching this? I'm like, yeah, like this shit is dope. So, it's like a full circle. Like now I'm back and I'm in the wrestling world. Sasha Banks actually brought me back for TRL. I DM'd her. I was watching, yeah. I was watching wrestling and it was like a new wave of female wrestlers. And I'm like, okay, they all look unique. Like, there were some girls like Sasha Banks. It was Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Bailey. And I think it was like a couple of other girls. So I was like, wow, they're really wrestling. Like it wasn't like, bra and panties and all those other old kind of vibes. Like these girls are really kicking ass. So I was like, okay, cool. What if I worked with a wrestler? And I was like, no, that's dumb. That's dumb. And so I just went ahead and I DM'd Sasha Banks. She was like, well, I don't think I'll ever need a stylist, but if I do, I'll let you know. I was like, okay. And out of the blue, she was hosting TRL because there was a women's evolution. The first pay-per-view was just nothing but females. And they had her doing promo. And she was like, I need a stylist. I was like, what? So that was my first time doing it. And I guess word of mouth just caught fire. A couple of the girls hit me up. And at first I was like, oh, no, like, what am I doing? And so they're like, no, I'm coming out, I'm doing a television show. So I said, okay, cool. So I was just dressing them for, like when they have red carpets or TV appearances. And then COVID hit. And so then I was like, dang, okay, cool. It wasn't, I wasn't much needed. Then I get a call from Becky. She's like, hey, Colby, Seth Rollins, is coming back and he's going to be switching up his gimmick. And so I said, okay, cool. And so she's like, just get him a bunch of suits. I'm like, suits? She's like, yeah, dress him like how you would dress yourself. So I'm like, what? And so I was like, okay, cool. So I started dressing him like I would dress myself. And it just caught fire. And we've been rocking ever since. So about 4 years. Yeah.
That's an amazing story. And you also are Seth Rollins' personal stylist. So not only are you working in a capacity for the shows and the pay-per-views, but you're also helping for, personal appearances and red carpets and all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Which is really amazing. I mean, what does a day in the life for you particularly look like? Because I understand from the stylist perspective, you're pulling clothes. This is just vernacular. For those who aren't familiar with fashion and styling, there's something called pulling clothes where you're going to the showrooms, you're picking out the clothing that you would like for your clients to wear, and then you have to do all the different things in terms of the pricing. And I can only imagine. So what does that look like for you when a client calls you up and says, hey, I'm going to a red carpet for this movie premiere. I need something in like 5 hours perhaps, or I don't know the time frame, but something like that. can you pull something for me? And how does that work for you in that case?
It always happens like that. Being on the West Coast, being on the West Coast, and I think most wrestlers live on the East Coast, so it'll be like 5 o'clock, and I get like a text or a call that they need something for their flight's landing at such and such time. Can you find something? I'm like, today? So so I'm like jumping up. I'm like, why didn't you guys call me before? In my head, but if it's a client that I do want, I will jump up and and do what I got to do. So it consists of me getting up, going to a showroom. First off, getting approved to the showrooms. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of fashion showrooms will turn down wrestlers. They're not, they don't consider them like celebrities.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these are celebrities to me. Like, you know what I mean? These are like the ones that will actually look good in the clothes because they have amazing bodies. The showmanship and all of that stuff. And, for years they were saying no to me until the Seth Rollins things picked up. And now they're like, okay, cool. Like most of the showrooms that were saying no, they say yes. So whatever I want, I can get. But I had to like prove myself that, that the wrestlers were like celebrities. Like, they're going to the Kelly Clarkson show. They're going to the Jimmy Fallon. They're doing all of this stuff. So why wouldn't they be allowed to pull any kind of clothing? It's been a rough.
Yeah, there is that stigma around professional wrestling. For years, it was the carny. You go to the flea market, you go to the carnival. There's some wrestling happening in the back corner.
Right.
But there's moments that we've seen it with The Rock. We've seen it with Seth, where wrestling is mainstream. It has its ups and downs, but there's times in history where wrestling is at the forefront. You can really see, society, it mirroring society in the way like. Right now, for instance, you look at social media is really huge. And if you look at pure numbers and followers, like wrestlers are up there. They're so recognizable, especially, you could put up 5 wrestlers and then put up 5 players for the Milwaukee Bucks. And I guarantee you those wrestlers are going to be way more recognizable than the players. That's just
Absolutely.
What it is.
And Googled.
Yeah. That's just what it is.
And Googled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also something I didn't know about the showrooms and you going in and saying, I'm pulling something for a wrestler and being turned down. It sounds like that's changed immensely, which is fantastic. And Absolutely. It proves that wrestling, it's as we're starting to see, and Sarath, you mentioned The Rock, and we're getting into an age where, as far as the mainstream goes, we're kind of creeping back into that in terms of the recognizability. So that's really, that's amazing. And it seems, once again, like I said, you're pioneering something as a stylist that we haven't quite seen before. In your perspective, Troi, where do you see styling going in terms of, say, the next 2, 3, 4 years, particularly in wrestling, but also, if you don't mind speaking, just in general, because the world is changing. Yeah. We have AI that's now, a whole different conversation, but of course, I'm sure it's going to change styling in some way and other forms of technology. So where do you see your job moving into in the future, and just the job of styling in general?
I feel like creativity is inside of you, right? Like you can always, I was talking to Sarath earlier about just being inspired. And how I want to start doing things to get more inspired. So it's like, you have the AIs and you have things like that, but I feel like as a creative, you're always gonna come up with something that, you know what I mean? Like that's unique and that's different. If you got it inside of you, if that makes any sense. More elevation, like more clientele, like more, maybe even creating teams for certain wrestlers. Do you know what I mean? Like, like a brand, like, you know what I mean? Like you have your stylist, you have your stylist assistant, you have, for like big name wrestlers, you know what I mean? Like create something unique.
So do you see, like, in the next few years, do you see wrestlers like kind of putting together a team the same way you would see social media stars and movie stars?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
I feel like that's the way it needs to go, because it's like, you want to be more recognizable. You want to get the eyes of Hollywood. You want to be on my side and get the eyes of fashion. Like, come as a whole package. Like, the carny thing. Like, you don't want to just be stuck in this one little box. My reasoning of reaching out to a lot of the clientele is to get them on red carpets, to get like them in Mac ads, get them in like a fashion show, a Fashion Week fashion show that's actually legit. Not that. Let me take that back. Like all the fashion shows are legit, but you know what I mean. Like a higher brand, like a wrestler in the Valentino show, a wrestler in a Gucci show, a wrestler. Dig that deep. You know what I mean? Like really take over like the fashion world.
Would love to see that. And I think we're
and a lot
on
of
the precipice of that in some way.
Absolutely. A lot of the wrestlers are interested in fashion.
Yeah.
It's just about actually taking the step in learning all that I come with or all that comes with having a stylist. Not necessarily me. There's tons of stylists out there.
Absolutely, but you're killing it. You're one that is killing it. This conversation could go on for hours, I feel, but I believe we're at the point where we can take questions. So we're at the Q.
All right. Hello. I am pausing because we are in the Q&A portion for the panel, and I know we're all just watching and listening so intently. For me, at least, I'm not sure for Sarath, Yolanda, or Troi, but this is the first time that I'm seeing this played back in the live stream. So it's fascinating just hearing everything, all the conversations that we're having, and it's so enjoyable, and I'm so happy that you all are enjoying this as well. We are over 200 strong in this live stream with the viewership, so it's just been climbing as time has gone on, and we are just pleased beyond measure to have you all join us. Before we get back into the panel itself, and I'm going to put I apologize for having my camera off. I'm going to put it back on. Before we get back into the rest of the video, which is pretty much the Q&A portion of the South by Southwest panel that we had. Definitely want to reiterate, if you have any questions for our very own Q&A after this, please make sure to have them ready. We have Yolanda, we have Sarath, and then also we should have Troi coming back. So if you have any questions for them or even myself, that will be your time to ask. This is a one-time, I don't want to say once in a lifetime opportunity, but to be quite honest, I don't know when we'll ever have another time like this where you can ask Yolanda, Sarath, and Troi questions that you might have had just stored up for quite some time, especially if you are a huge fan of their work that you see on a weekly basis or just in general throughout the year. So thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm going to put this back onto the panel for the Q&A that was broadcast during South by Southwest, and then we will get to your questions and your comments. And before we get back, Sarath, it seems like Yolanda stepped off, but do you have anything you want to state?
No, I'm like I said, I'm glad that everybody that's in hopefully you're enjoying this this panel, and I'm glad that everyone who is tuning in, and I can't wait to get into the Q&A to answer any questions. So please get your questions in there, because once I get off this, it's back into the workshop, so I'm not going to be interacting with people for the next few weeks. So we'll see you like that.
Back doing your thing. I love it. Yolanda, did you have anything you wanted to state before we get into the panel broadcast Q&A and then our Q&A for everyone watching?
Yes. One, can you hear me? Because these earbuds are trash. Okay, good. They wouldn't reconnect for nothing. It was really getting on my nerves.
I get it.
No, just well, yes, just ask questions, please. It's encouraged. We want to hear from you, and we got some jewels to drop. So
yeah, absolutely.
Take advantage of that.
I'm here for it. So make sure you all have your questions ready to go when we end. I can't wait to see what those questions will be, as I'm sure Yolanda, Sarath, and Troi can't wait as well. And thank you once again for tuning in. This is phenomenal. It is a Saturday afternoon The fact that you're here with us and it's over 200 watching is, I mean, I cannot be happier enough, as I'm sure Yolanda, Sarath, and Troi as well. And shout out to you. You won't be able to see her, but shout out to Patricia from Those Wrestling Girls. They are co-promoting with us. She is a gem. She helped out a lot during this panel at South by Southwest, along with Brian.
Yeah, shout out to Patricia.
Yes, Patricia. Thank you. Those Wrestling Girls and Brian Waters as well, as we see in the chat. He was a huge part of helping out with the AV during the actual event that happened in Austin. They are phenomenal. So if you're not following them, please follow Brian Waters, Those Wrestling Girls, Patricia Rogers. We love you all so much. And we are getting back to, oh, Brian, I love that. We are getting back to the panel at hand for the Q&A, and then we will get to your questions and comments. Thank you again.
All right.
Q&A portion. So if anyone has any questions that they'd like to present to our lovely panel, please feel free to introduce yourself and have fun.
So I love Seth Rollins' fashion, so that's obviously
Thank you.
been incredible. And I think it is a good example of how a character has evolved, but also kept a lot of core elements that design-wise. So as a designer, when you know, and this could be for anyone on the panel, when you know your character is going to have, or the wrestler you're working with, their character is going to have character evolution or storyline evolution, how do you grow and change their costumes over time to reflect that, while identifying and maintaining those key design elements that are core to their character?
Normally, so what I try to do, I can't speak for everyone else, but what I try to do is I try to slowly like evolve a wrestler's look into that new design element. So for instance, with Seth, we went from the architect and that kind of look. So that's a lot of geometric shapes, a lot of kind of a tech look. And then when we went into the visionary era for him, we started slowly, using flashier fabrics, brighter colors, change the straight lines to curved lines. And then we started implementing some lace, some sheer, and you slowly start adding it in, and then eventually you get to a WrestleMania where you put it all together, and that becomes a full lace outfit with Swarovski crystals and a giant jacket with light blue like fur on it. Like it's just if you watch the evolution of his character going up to that point, you'll start to slowly see all those elements starting to come into him until it finally hits that point where it kind of just like the pièce de résistance, for lack of a better term.
Fire.
Oh man, so
Instead of Renaissance.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so I guess two things. So, I'm very fortunate where I did have at least a couple of wrestlers that stayed with me over time. But one of my favorite designs that I did was for Leo Rush, Man of the Hour, the first round, the first version of him. And what I like, if you come to me, is whatever I did the first time has to be better than the last. And so it's like, how do I outdo myself? So with that, if you come to me, I need to know who you are, which means you need to know who you are, because I love treating wrestlers as a brand, right? So with Leo, I got to really talk to him and understand how he thinks, and also enjoyed the character as well. So that helped me. And so a lot of my styling, design styling wise anyway, are signatures like Art Deco, a lot of line work and all that stuff. And it was like, well, how do I take the trunks that I originally did, and now he wants to have long tights? Okay, now how do we do that, but like elevate it? And so I looked at the sketch of the trunks, and then went to my CAD for the tights, and just, okay, so we're going to add these lines here. Okay, here's the color scheme: gold, black, white. All right, here's the logo, Swarovski crystals. And it was just like a match made in heaven. A very timeless piece. And then as far as this goes to the favorite gear I ever designed on a story arc, a bittersweet one. So when I learned that when I learned that I had the opportunity to design for Cody Rhodes, my brain said he was winning. So I went all out. I'm like, he's going to defeat the evil Roman Reigns, and so he's going to rise above and everything. And so I gave that brother wings, gold wings, and I wanted him to shine and just look so regal, like you know, like the prince or the king, the knight in shining armor to defeat Roman Reigns. And so that was my inspiration. You know what I'm saying? And that was the story that was for us, for the whole world, you know. But I was so dedicated to that. I even thought about how the camera was going to hit the angle. So when he came out of, because Cody comes out from the floor.
Yeah.
So I knew when he came out the floor, you're going to see them wings. And it's breathtaking. It's breathtaking. And I was hoping there was going to be an aerial view so you can see the wings and the cape drag on the ground, which it was only for a little bit. But the wings definitely took, how can I say? I'm losing words, Candace. It was definitely like the focal point of the aura of, oh my goodness, he's going to save the day.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
You hit it.
And
Yeah.
so in that regard of your question, once we all know enough details, I think, and are invested in actually what's going on, it's easier to design or create for them while still keeping the integrity.
Real quick, that outfit's
Love
sick.
that.
That's sick. I walked in, I was like, oh, that's dope.
Love it.
I
Love
know, we
it.
all looking like, ooh.
Excellent
Thank you
answers.
for blessing us.
Love it. Excellent answers and excellent question. That was great. Thank you so much. And we have more questions,
Thank you
which
so
is
much.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Check. Hi, thanks for the talk. Fan of all your guys' work. I had a question about how you approach creativity. And I find that creativity, you have to have the right conditions for it. Sometimes it's walking your dog. Sometimes it's, getting the details. But when you have like an assignment, and you were talking about like the mechanical nature of just kind of going through the steps and knowing what you need to do and needing to step away from that, how do you engage your creativity and imagination? What are the conditions that you create so that you can tap into that really creative power where you can create an aha moment in your work?
Luther Vandross. I play music. I put on music.
Yes.
I put on music. I get into my moment. I would jump inside of a car too. Like if I would drive. I'm so weird, but I would drive. I was just telling Sarath. I would drive to Vegas. I'll go to Vegas, and it's like the drive from Los Angeles to Vegas is so the landscape, and it's just beautiful. Like, and it sparks like different kind of creative juices for me. It makes me go on my phone, start screenshotting different inspirations. Even with designing, like it'll help me like figure out something unique. Music, driving, the beach. Living in Los Angeles, that's a plus. It's like a own oasis. Like you go out there and you just, reset your brain.
I think for me, I'm always constantly trying to stretch my creativity. So I love to cook, I love to draw, I love to paint. Anything where I can use my creativity to create something, like I lean towards. And I feel like using your creativity every day, whether it's something small, like okay, I want to try to incorporate like eggs into my pasta or something like that. Nice. Just doing that, like I feel like as long as your brain's always thinking outside of the box, then when it comes time to do something for like gear or something like that, your brain's already in that mode of just, all right, let me pull inspiration from something that I might not normally do. So.
Sick.
So wow, I just lost the answer, but that's okay. It's gonna come back to me. So, oh no, I found it. All right. So one of them is I love city skylines. Like I can just, so in Philly we got the art museum. I can sit on them steps and just gaze and look around and be happy. I love the club and the lounge because I love the lighting. I love the vibes. I love it. But I do have my R&B tried and true playlist that has gotten me through many of designs, especially most of the time if I was designing, it was definitely at night. So yeah, that for me, the Jodeci's, the Drew Hills, like all that
Nice.
good stuff.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be belting out at 1 o'clock in the morning during the heathen hours, but I am as I design, and sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I would also turn on Project Runway sometimes.
Love that show.
Because sometimes I need a creative show while I'm creating. For some reason it helps for me. So those are my go-to.
I always have Saved by the Bell on.
Oh,
Weird. I know it's
That's
weird.
great.
But
wasn't expecting that.
But that's what was on like when I was a child, at that 5-year-old, when I was
That
stopped
comfort.
at the thing.
Yeah.
Saved by the Bell, Power Rangers. So it's like certain shows, Martin. It's always nostalgic when I'm like in that mode of this is the fabric, this is this is that.
Yeah.
Very weird, but whatever was hot when I was 5 is what's around, what's going on when I'm creating.
That is awesome. We have about 5 minutes left, so I think we have time for the last 2 questions. Go for it.
All right, Benny Vandenavond, lifelong fan. My question was kind of about the business of the fashion. When your outfits are turned into an action figure or digitized into the video games, how does the business of that work?
Excellent question.
I am not contractual. I'm contractually obligated to not be able to speak about that.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
But just know that one of my favorite things is being out at a toy store and seeing something I made. Like when WB came out with these not the Barbie dolls, but those dolls. Like I got to go to Mattel and actually see them before they were out, and it blew my mind. Just because there's a little girl that's gonna be playing with that. It's gonna inspire them, and so you're like just knowing that you had a hand in doing something that can then get translated to that. That's like check mark.
There you go. Fair enough answer, I think. Yeah.
I get paid.
I mean, keeping it real, Troi.
For every design, so I'm good. I'm cool.
Love to see it. We love to hear it. You got to keep it real. Well, we have time for one more question, and thank you for bringing us home.
Thank you. I'm Carla, and I'm
Hi,
curious about leaning in on the legends. Like, what old school look? Of course, we have the Ric Flairs of the world, the $1 Million Mans. Like, those are old school, awesome looks that were just like amazing and vanguard. What is one look or one style? Not necessarily a favorite wrestler, but what's one look that y'all can pull from that's like a good memory or something that y'all love?
Love that question. Nice.
That's fine.
Yolanda, you
There's
first.
more than one for me.
Okay. Wow. All right. I can definitely go Bianca Belair, but Bianca Belair for sure. A lot of her gear, but we're talking about old school. I have to say Shawn Michaels, of course. I got teased for him, and I don't care. It was worth it. It's the fashion. WrestleMania 12 was memorable. One of my favorites. I cannot remember when he debuted this gear, but it's a particular one that's red with chains, gold, silver chains, maybe a black mirror on it. That definitely is one of my favorites. His mirror, a lot of with his mirrors. But I want to say one quick thing. Yes, it's very cool to see my designs on T-shirts and action figures, video games. That Cody Rhodes one from WrestleMania 39 was actually on the cover of 2K24. But I look forward to the day where hard workers like, let's say me, and I don't know if Troi was to include himself on this, but that's okay, would get some residuals afterwards. Because yes, the wrestlers do pay us, but the accumulation of the dollars afterwards from that is a different level to me. So business-wise, I look forward to that day.
For me, it's bar none. Rey Mysterio Spider-Man outfit, the one that he was wearing in WCW NWO World Tour. That's top tier.
Yeah.
Easy.
Sorry. I'm going to the door. There were so many. I remember all of Randy Savage's stuff is a vibe. Macho Man, Randy Savage, all of his stuff is like crazy. Like literally everything that he did was fire. Ultimate Warrior, all those color choices were just so unique, and that's why I came back in that's why I came back to wrestling. But that's why I came to the wrestling world, to put that kind of spunk back into it, that the color, the pageantry, the fire, like that, that like nostalgia. That's what I'll say. Who else? The females, like Sable, the all black leather, and just her vibe. China, like that whole era as well. Like I was into all of those.
Love that.
Yeah.
Really quickly before we
sorry.
end. No.
Ravish and Rick Rude.
Go for it. Oh,
Airbrush.
yeah.
Airbrush. All right.
Like all
Love that you
his
mentioned.
pants and the spray painting.
Yeah.
It's just those are just vibes. I was like, whoa, where is that? Somebody can literally do that right now, and it would be crazy. Yeah. So it's like, what are we doing? Where's the creativity?
Do it.
So.
Here you
We
go.
need more wrestlers who wants to take risk. That's the problem.
Yes.
Let's if I'm going to keep it real on the end of this, we need more risk takers, and then we can really turn the party.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that we ended on that note. And I also want to add, Sarath, I apologize. The sneakers that you all are seeing, they are designed by Sarath. So what you're seeing on the stage, got to give you props for that.
Yeah, so those are sneakers I designed for Diadora and Foot Locker for autism awareness and autism acceptance. My ex-brother-in-law is autistic. So essentially, it's a conversation starter. So if you see somebody, if you're familiar with autism and things like that, or you might not be familiar, you see somebody with a sneaker like that on, you might be inclined to ask them about it. It basically starts the conversation, and then they can really because I think with autism, people assume it's kind of like Down syndrome, where it's visible, but it's not. It's a spectrum, and it's so wide. And so just getting that conversation started, making it so that it's not so taboo to talk about, is a passion of mine. And real quick, that the black one on top specifically has adaptable shoelaces. So once the shoe's tied, the wearer can slide their foot inside out. And that was done purposely because a lot of autistic individuals sometimes have a hard time feeling like their own person. They're always feeling like they need support from someone else to do anything. So being able to put their shoe on and off by themselves is a little way of helping them feel like they're self, I don't know what's the word, self-motivated. They're just able to be self-reliant, and it goes a long way into helping them feel like their own person. Also, with a lot of the stuff there, we worked with this company called Spectrum Designs out of Port Washington, New York, who they specifically hire autistic individuals to work in their print shops. So if anybody here who wants to get into the fashion industry is looking for like a screen printer or a t-shirt maker, I urge you to look at Spectrum Designs out of Port Washington.
Nice.
That is lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sarath. And thank you all for being a part of this panel. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to your fans, everyone watching. We had a live stream going. What you're doing, all three of you, is just phenomenal, and we appreciate you. And I hope we can do this again, whether at South by Southwest or, who knows, another con. Let's get this going.
If we do this at a Comic-Con, I'm coming cosplayed out.
Yes.
Cosplayed out. Green Lantern, let's go.
Listen,
Yes.
I want to give you your flowers. Like this is something that you talked about and you made happen.
Thank you.
I'm honored to be a part of something like this. And when you initially hit me up, and I was just like, of course, Sarath. I'm like, yo, Sarath is fire. When you needed people for the panel, just your vision of what you thought it was and how you were going to enter it in, and here we are. Like it's like.
Yeah.
That's a testament to you and your ability. So fire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to cry after this. So thank you. And thank you all for coming. This means a lot. And, make sure, go to the South by Southwest Go app. If you don't have it on your phone, you can download it. It's really easy. Please rate us, send us your replies, how you like this, because we want to come back and we want to make sure that if there's anything we should change up, just let us know. But I thank you all for coming. This is fantastic to see you all. And thank you to all of my panelists for your hard work. And good luck as we enter into WrestleMania season. I know it's going to be...
We're already in WrestleMania.
Yeah, we really are. We really are. We're in the thick of it. But we can't wait to see what you all come up with next on the big screen, on the red carpet, on the small screen, all of that good stuff. Before we really leave and go, I don't want anyone to kick us out, but where can we find you? For those who are not familiar with your social media accounts, really quickly, where can people, hit you up, give you your flowers, all that?
At King Troi, at KINGTROI, on all platforms.
You can find me at I am Makazi on Instagram, Twitter, or if you're on YouTube, I got Sarath and Chris's Movie Therapy podcast, where, speaking of creativity, that's another outlet that I have that's got nothing to do with wrestling, where we just talk about movies and therapy.
Sick.
On all platforms, you can find me at Gimmicks247, 1M, because it's cooler that way. But please follow me on the Twitters. I got hacked in September, so I lost a lot of me followers to the point where I almost forget that it's there, but we trying to bring it back. So yeah, we starting from scratch, baby.
There you go. Nothing like starting from scratch. Absolutely. You can also find me, Candace Cordelia. That's on Twitter/X. You can find me on Instagram at thatgirlcandace16. And also, you can find PWI Pro Wrestling Illustrated. We're everywhere: YouTube, X, IG. So hit us up. Let us know your thoughts. And we salute you. And thank you so much for supporting us.
Thank you.
Awesome. We are back. That was fabulous.
Yeah.
Again, that was an awesome conversation that we had, and to relive that magic was really cool. So, how are you all feeling, Sarath and Yolanda, before we kick off the Q&A?
I'm exhausted. Like I said, I was on a red eye. I was on a red eye. So.
Well,
No, but I mean, that watching that back, like it brought back great memories. And two, it's nice to get into a room with a group of people who have an appreciation for what you do. So I'm very thankful of everybody who came out, everybody who's tuning in. Just it means a lot to know that like these hours that I spend and all this time I put into what I do is appreciated.
Oh, amen. I'm so happy for you all, and it's a blessing. It really is. And thank you for joining us, Sarath, because I know, like you said, it's WrestleMania season. It's a lot of red eye flights, a lot of long hours. We really appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much.
Always.
Thank you. And we got a great job, everyone, from Armand. Shout out to Armand. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you all of you
Armand.
for watching. That's so sweet. What about you, Yolanda, before we kick off into the we'll get Brian Waters' question very shortly. How are you feeling, Yolanda, before we kick this off?
I'm feeling good. Man, was I cracking up because there's, I'm thinking about how I was going to respond, and all those memories came back. Laughing at some of the things I know I said. So yeah, it was a really good time. Also, shout out to Armand as well. Armand is amazing.
Oh, love it. So we are going to get things started. We are over 230 viewers watching. You all are beautiful and fantastic. Thank you so much for kicking it with us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. First question. Oh, and I just want to give a disclaimer. Troi will be joining us in a few moments. If you were not here when Troi was here in the beginning, he is currently pulling looks for the next week ahead.
Sure he is. I'm sure he is. When I saw that he was in a car, I'm like, oh, I know exactly where he's going.
Yep. He's pulling looks for his clients that we'll all see in the week to come for WrestleMania season. So shout out to Troi, who will be joining us to answer questions very soon. First question, Brian Waters. Hey, Brian. Great panel. During WrestleMania season, when does the moment come when you get a chance to reflect on the work you've done? Great question.
I mean, Yolanda, you can answer first.
Oh man. Oh my God, this is a horrible answer because it should be right after the match or during, as soon as they come out. You know what? Okay, I'll give you two quick. I'll try my best to give you two quick answers, and the Cody Rhodes one's the best one because I was there live for it. So in that moment, I got to I got to reflect in that sense. But as far as like sitting back and really thinking about it, sometimes it takes me a whole year or more. I'm like bad with it as far as like having those strong reflections about everything I've done with certain people's gear. But Cody's probably the shortest amount of time. But at the same time, it still took me probably over a year to really like sit down and be still.
Wow. That's not a bad answer at all. It's a truthful one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like I said, it's hard to reflect because the only thing on my mind is the next thing, you know. And like I said, this year, we have WrestleMania coming up, but then there's a PLE, a couple weeks after. So as soon as you get done, you know, it's hard to even think about what just happened because your brain's already focusing on what's coming. But there is a moment that I like to do with my coworkers and stuff where we try to go out into the stadium at one point in the night to really just take it all in, just to see everything. And sometimes I'll go out there when certain entrances are going on. I'll be able to see everything like in action. And those are the moments when I'm not having to do anything that I can actually actually let it all seep in and just know that, hey, you played a part in creating this whole environment for everyone to enjoy. So yeah, then maybe getting some dim sum after. That's probably about the only times I can really reflect on anything.
Dim sum. That sounds so delicious. Oh my
So
goodness.
I just made myself hungry.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love these types of questions, especially because we get to hear your real thoughts. And, it's really just as Patricia was saying in the chat that I'm seeing here, love hearing about the ins and outs of your jobs during WrestleMania season. Absolutely. I agree. Because this is such a pressure cooker time. And it's really fascinating hearing what that process is like, because only so many of us can imagine, much less understand. So,
I mean, listen, for years, I've always heard, "Hey, you never see Mikaze anywhere around WrestleMania." I said, "Yeah, because I'm working."
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you don't see him here. You don't see him. It's because I'm by a sewing machine till 4 or 5 in the morning. Like it's just that's how it is. Sometimes I don't sleep. I have one story of when I was in New Orleans. I forget which WrestleMania it was, but I was up for about 29 or 30 hours straight. So I needed to get some coffee, and the hotel we were at had a Starbucks in the lobby. So I went over there to go get some coffee, and I was so out of it that I just walked like full speed into the glass, and my glasses got embedded in my eyebrow. I popped it out. I needed to get 6 stitches in my eye.
Oh my
What? That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. I was in that mode. Sometimes it's easier to just stay awake and work versus going to sleep and taking a chance on losing hours because you might oversleep. So
Oh yes, I know. I don't trust me. I don't take naps. I take comas.
yeah.
I am just out. That is wild. That is so
Yeah.
wild, Sarath. Oh my goodness. Well, thankfully you were okay and you kept it moving.
Yeah. Oh no, trust me. I got it pointed out a couple times that weekend by a lot of people. Like, hey man, watch out for that glass. I'm like, bro, come on.
Oh goodness. Oh Lord.
By everyone you can think of. By everyone you can think of.
Oh, well, I bet you never forgot that WrestleMania. That
Oh,
one.
no, I swear to God, this is no lie. That happened early in the week. For the entire week, if you went to that Starbucks, the grease from my face, whatever, was implanted on that glass the entire week. People would walk by and take pictures.
Oh my! Wow.
Yeah, I would have took a selfie.
That is a story. On
Yes.
that note, I'm gonna hit up. We have another really cool question from Twitter. Main event Monet. Want to make sure I get that right. What is the most memorable wrestling gear they've created, and who are they doing wrestling gear for at WrestleMania? Ooh.
I mean, as far as memorable, it's hard because you're making so much, and sometimes it's about, just your. Sometimes it's less about what set of gear and more about if you're what kind of look you're creating for someone that that look might drive them throughout the rest of their year or whatever. Like for instance, with like Jey Uso, it's not the most elaborate set of gear, but we've done something where we've been able to give him his own look because he'd had that Uso look for so long that now he has his own look that you can attribute to him. And if you just if you're and it takes a lot of like repetition for some people to see him in that kind of same style for a while for them to really instinctually associate that look with him. As far as gear I'm working on for WrestleMania, you're just gonna have to watch and pay attention.
I knew that was coming. I was like, well, main event Monet tried. That's all you can do. I was like, you might answer it, you might not, but hey, you gotta try. Yeah. But yeah, that's really cool. That's really, really cool. What about you, Yolanda?
Easy answer. And I'm gonna just somebody asked me this, and I wrote, until I find a way to make somebody fly, that Cody Rhodes gear is going to be my favorite one.
Yeah.
Until you put me in the grave. Till I'm in the dirt.
Yeah.
Now I know I can do something even better, but somebody got to want it, But yeah, that's my favorite of all time. Come on now, he had wings and it was dipped in gold.
Yeah.
As far as this year, well, spoiler alert, no, I'm not designing for nobody for Mania this year. I gotta take a break.
Well, lucky you.
I'm burnt out.
I love the fact that my workload stays full, but it's work. It is what it is. So it's like, hey,
yeah,
it needs to get done.
Yeah.
So
it really is.
Enjoy.
And I got some years on you.
Yeah.
I look good for the years I got on you, but I got years on you.
Yeah.
And I can chuckle at what happened to you, but I've missed train stations because how tired I was and had to jump. I got to the end of the line and had to jump out the train. It was in the train yard because I got working so hard. I'm at the point where it's like, okay, 2025, you need to rest a little bit. And then we'll pick it back up, like maybe later in the year and this and the third. But for now, I get to watch everybody else, which actually I am enjoying. So I look forward to seeing what actually comes out of your creativity. Oh, is that Troi coming up?
It is Troi. It is
right on time. Right on time. Turn that camera on, my brother.
This is such a treat because I was stating not too long ago.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
We've been waiting for you.
Sorry.
That's okay. As you're still, show us the wear. Yep, you are not lying. You've been pulling looks.
You look like you look like you've been looting.
Especially with the bandana on.
Yeah, exactly.
The main one.
He's serious.
This is great. So for those who are still with us, thank you so much. We now have our complete panel, which is awesome. We have Yolanda, the designer, Sarath Ton, and King Troi, along with myself, Candace Cordelia, and my phone that just went off from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. And this is your time to ask questions, which we'll be pulling up for our panelists to answer. So any questions that you might have or comments, please feel free. And we're going to wait for the next one very shortly. But Troi, we were talking about just we had many different cool questions. We were talking about Mania, what the favorite looks, if you can answer that as well, the favorite looks that you pulled for your clients, and then we'll get to Brian's question very shortly.
The greatest, the best looks I pulled for my clients.
Yeah, or your favorite, like maybe one really memorable look that you've pulled for a client for WrestleMania, or just in general, rather.
I really loved last year's blue and gold. I feel like it's not getting a lot of love. Like I feel like I should.
Oh, you got to
But
pump that up.
I feel like it was fire. That blue and gold.
Mm.
Yeah. So that was my favorite as of right now. I guess with Mania it's like I always like to each year I like to try to top the next, which I mean everyone it has its own world. I feel like all the looks have its own world.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like Troy's favorite are the ones that become Getty images that people can
Ooh.
go online and search. Like, yeah, like that's Getty image on a red carpet. That's a nice thing to put on your resume. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure. Be lit.
Kind of nice. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wait, hold on for 1 second. Can I cheat and say which is one of my favorite attires and gear that was actually a combination between King Troi and Sarath, which was Seth. Pretty sure it was Seth Rollins' gear for 39 for WrestleMania 39. With the it was pink and red colorway.
Oh, the puffy. Yeah.
Yeah, with the puff pants, because they gave me sexy Shawn Michaels, and then everybody, well, not everybody know, but I don't care if everybody knows. That's my baby daddy in my mind. I love that man. He's part of the reason why I'm in this anyway. That I love that gear, the long coat dragging on the floor, the drama. I was here for it, so that's mine. That's mine.
I didn't know what Troi was doing for the coat, and then when Seth pulled it out of the bag because I wanted to go help him with it, I was like, "Oh, okay." He just kept pulling. And I was like, "Oh, he's like a magician." Yeah.
I love that. That was fire, definitely.
Yeah,
I would. The what I did with that coat was, I mean, I gave this person hell. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I'm like, "It's not long enough." He was like, "I can't do it no longer." I said, "Do it as long as you can," because it was in L.A.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, I have to be there in like an hour. Like, I have to meet the people in an hour. Like, hurry up and do it." So there's even a video out there when I'm just like hugging the coat when it was finally done.
Yeah.
I tore up that whole sewing team.
Bro, I made Seth's chaps out of a comforter I got from the Target on Figueroa.
Oh my god!
Because I was looking, I had all this batting and stuff like that, and I was like, it's not puffy enough. They were like, why don't you try a comforter? So I ran down to Target, bought a comforter, and came back. And there's a video. I think there's a picture, a video of me wrapped up like a burrito in it. Like, but that's the comforter I used to make the chaps.
That's amazing. This is why I love this. Absolutely, the stories.
That is fire.
We're gonna kick off to. We got 2 more questions from what I understand. This next one, Brian Waters. Great panel. During WrestleMania season, when does the moment come when you get a chance to reflect on the work you've done? We've answered this, but this is specifically for you, Troi, because you weren't here when we had that question posed.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if it's my phone that's got like bad service. Maybe because I'm outside.
You're okay.
But I didn't hear anything.
That's okay. So for you, during WrestleMania season, when does the moment come when you get a chance to reflect on the work that you've done?
The Monday after Mania.
Love it.
Because you need to find something for the Monday after Mania too. So
Yeah.
it's like right now it's like I'm real like I'm getting used to it because I guess this is year 4. But it's like I don't know. It feels like this. Like I'm still like this. I can't explain it, but I'm just like like pressure.
Yeah.
Troi, do you ever feel like after working at the rate that you need to, especially around WrestleMania season, that when things are actually working at a normal speed or what everyone consider like hectic, like you're just like, man, I don't feel like I'm doing anything because I don't feel like I'm, in that go mode. Like, do you ever feel that way when you don't have as many like?
My
things going on?
phone is frozen.
Oh,
Oh, you're all good.
Yeah, let me
Metro
get it.
PCS.
You're all good.
Like, you heard me? My phone was frozen this whole time, and like I can
No.
screenshot it. Sarath is frozen.
Oh,
Am
that's okay. We're gonna wait for Troi to get back. This is what it's like live. You gotta love it. We're gonna move on to the next question. I think we have just two more, and then I know we have to wrap
Hey,
up.
can you guys hear
Oh,
me?
sure, Troi. Yep,
Yeah, we
we can
got
hear
you.
you. Oh, now you are frozen. Now you're frozen. It's okay.
No.
No.
It's probably because he's outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good. Let's, in the meantime, how do you all get your creative spark back? And then hopefully,
Yolanda?
I love Troi people.
Oh my god. All right. So let's see. I'm drained. I can't think. This sucks. I got a deadline. And I might not have slept. So, all right. So, okay. So one, I do try to sleep. I'll put it like this. If I'm at a point where like there's no creative nothing, I will not force it. Now I won't. I'll go to sleep. And if it so happens that I have to pull an all-nighter and I got the energy, that's the start. Then I'm either going to be watching something, whether it's Harry Potter, Project Runway, and then I'm most likely queuing up the sexy ass R&B playlist. Yeah, that's most, and that helps. And hopefully at this point I found enough images for things to click for me. Sometimes in the beginning, I just can't think. I can't just figure out the keywords, what I'm looking for. It doesn't come to me. But once, at least I get like some type of sleep, or just wait just a little bit, probably to the last minute. For some reason, the inspiration just comes like clockwork, last ass minute. I could start in a month, but for some reason, things won't always click the last minute for me. It's terrible, but it works. So.
I feel you. Yeah, I think for me, sometimes it's just scrolling through fabrics, either going to the fabric store and just seeing what's out there right now, even like stepping out of the whole lycra and spandex area, just seeing, going over to the bridal, you're going over to, your weaves and just seeing what's there, and just maybe something will spark your imagination. Maybe you'll see a texture, you're like, "Ooh, I kind of want to use that." And then sometimes it's just walking away from the sewing machine, where like I'll be working and something will be getting tedious, or I'll be crystalling for hours and I'm starting to get crystal blind. And I'm just like, I just need to walk away for a second. Maybe again, take my dog for a walk, go grab some ramen, do something. And then when I come back, it's like, okay, now it feels fresh again. So
Love that. I love that. That's really
But
interesting.
mostly it's stepping away, though. I have to say, most of the time it is stepping away. Like that helps a lot. And then when your mind is right, then you'll whether it's your Pinterest, your YouTubes, your Instagram, runway shows, whatever, or a movie, something can trigger it. But your mind got to be there to pick that inspiration that hopefully, not hopefully, but that most people can't see.
Yeah. And that walking away, when you step away, you almost have to like force yourself to just put yourself in a position where you're not thinking about it. Because you gotta like, because if you constantly have it revolving in your head, then you're just kind of mulling over the same ideas and same ideas. But if you pull yourself away and force yourself to just not think about it, do something that, go for a run to where you get to a point where all you can think about is the next step forward. Then when you came back, your brain feels fresh, and you're able to just, okay, look at it with fresh eyes.
Yep.
Really like that. Also intriguing, and it's really of note that you get inspiration from everywhere, basically. But it doesn't just have to be one thing, which is awesome. Last question that we have from Armand, and thank you, Armand, for your comments in the chat. Which wrestler that you have not done gear for would you like to make? I love that.
I would love to answer that specifically, but chances are then they'll come ask me, and I'm like, I don't have time to make it. So it's like you just don't put that out in the universe unless you got the time to do it. But for me, it's actually less about which wrestler and more about which style. Because sometimes I'll be doing like guys stuff for a while, and you're just like, okay, I need to take on a girl's something a little more elaborate, something a little more sparkly, just because it gives me something different to work on. Sometimes I'll be working on so much sparkled stuff. I'm like, I kind of want to just do something simple, so I'll work on, or I'll find someone who like wants to do a pair of trunks, and I'm like, hey man, you want me to? I can work on some gear for you, because if you don't have that varied work plate in front of you, you end up again that sometimes causes that fatigue and that creative, blockage, because you just feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again. Like right now, I'd love to work on a singlet. I actually just made a singlet for someone who might be wearing it at, WrestleMania. Who knows? Maybe if it see it or not. But it's one of those things where it's like sometimes I haven't made that style in a while. Let me just work with someone who has that style, so I can be like, all right, cool. Let's do something new.
I love that a lot. That's really cool. We'll be looking out for that. Yolanda, how about you?
All right, now I got some time to think. I'm gonna cheat just a little bit. um, uh, well, the person who I would love to design gear for sure. And man, maybe at that time I'm actually making gear too. But Bianca Belair. I feel like I've been campaigning about that in a weird way since this panel in Texas. But it's the truth. Oh my God, we are. I feel like we are so we're so similar in the way of that kind of style. And I've been fiending, truth be told, for somebody in the E that have the style that she has,
Yeah.
which is relatable for me. So yeah, I love it. Give me all that hip hop, all that flavor, all that that's a collaboration that I need to happen one day.
Honestly,
I-
you should just try designing it and then just sending it to her. Like, don't instead of waiting for her to reach out, just maybe flip it around. Just be like, hey,
So
I
I
designed
got
this.
no problem saying this out loud. You want to know why I don't do that? You know why
Why?
I don't do that? Because I'm gonna keep it real. Too many wrestlers, whatever. This is just real. Too many wrestlers play people, and if you don't know about me, I don't want you thinking that I am not where I'm at.
Yeah.
Not saying that she would, because I don't think she would, but just in general for me, you're not going to give me an action figure for what I just did.
Yeah, I feel you.
And no tea, no shade, but you ain't gonna come at me like that just because I'm still a fan of wrestling. So eventually, I think it is going to happen. But that is but that in particular is one reason why I can't. I work too. Well, let's say for her, maybe I would, but for the 99% of the world, no, you ain't playing me.
It's a business. You get paid for what you do. I get paid for what I do. It's a business.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want these. Now I gotta now I gotta chop up they expectations, thinking they caught a lick. No.
That makes so much sense though, because just like Sarath said, it's a beneficial thing. It's a business relationship. You have to get
So it's just me putting that on the just letting them know that from the jump.
Right.
So yeah, I'm trying to be careful how I go about that before they just like not again. I know it's not her, but I know people who have, so that's why I can say this. Who just run with the design and just go ahead and maybe they'll get a tag, maybe they'll get an action figure, maybe they'll get a shirt. You better not pay me no damn shirt and action. Oh, Sarath, don't open up this Pandora box. But I'm sorry, real rap. You come to Yolanda, the designer, right? Hit you up in the DM. It is still a financial transaction. So, but yes, but she's definitely somebody who I would love to design for. And at some point, I think I am going to contact her. But it's just finding just the right way, I suppose. Also, let me see. I was going to say I was cheating. If I go back in time, but it'd be Shawn Michaels. And if I could do something for somebody this year, give me heel John Cena. Give me heel John Cena so bad. so bad. Where everybody's crying about him going this way. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
With love. Oh my gosh, with love.
So yeah.
Love. Oh my goodness. Oh, and Troi is back. Before we wrap,
Yay!
on the stage so we can answer this question.
My bad.
Because we would love to. So,
Yeah, I'm like, this is like chaotic for me on my end.
we appreciate you so much, Troi, for
And,
being
and,
here. You're
and
like,
then my dog is doing the most. I'm just like, yo, go sit down.
oh my goodness. Really quickly, Troi, which wrestler, well, in your case that you have not styled for, would you like to style for?
Right now, currently, I'd like to work with some of the newer people to like create their look. You know, like probably down like at NXT or the Evolve shows. Like just do like a whole transformation. Like that'll be a vibe.
Who's someone who you would love to transform their current, not saying that their current look is like their current style is bad, but you would love to like take a crack at like changing their style.
Yeah. That's such a good question.
Oh, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. Like I'd enhance that evil dark kind of, like more spikes, more kind of. Well, I don't know how you can get more spikes, but maybe more. Maybe I don't know. Do something different.
Yeah, I feel you.
Maybe like different hairstyles to go with the different looks. Like I feel like her look can be endless. Tiffany Stratton.
Ooh.
I think that'll be a vibe. She's kind of like in a pop girl era. Make her more badass, more LA kind of chick,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Guy wise, I don't know. Guy wise, I don't know. I can't explain it. I've been waiting to see that person. Well, definitely Carmelo Hayes. I've been waiting to work with him. And Pretty Deadly. I feel like
Pretty
if I
Deadly would be fun.
I feel like if I got with Pretty Deadly, it'll be like game over. Like, it'll be.
They wouldn't know how to act.
and I've been reaching out, and me and Elton, we've been like talking, but nothing's ever transpired just yet. But,
I need that to happen.
Me too.
I think that would be like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I think you have the right aesthetic that would enhance them. Yeah.
Yes.
And actually.
Chelsea Green.
Oh, Sarath, I want you to answer that, but I know you can't because then people be harassing you. But I'm piggybacking off of that question of who would you like to elevate? And I feel bad kind of saying this, but then I don't because I want to. And Jimmy Uso, Jimmy, come here. Come here.
That's what I'm saying. Like for me, it's less
about right. Come here.
For me, it's less about elevating and just more about like what's interesting for me to work on. And because sometimes the most basic thing is interesting for me just because I haven't worked on it in a while. And then I'll go through those moments where I'm like, it's just I haven't done this in a while. Like I can't remember the last time I've made a pair of like just regular pair of tights. Everybody's doing like the joggers right now. Everybody's doing like trunks or anything elaborate. No one's had like just a regular pair of tights in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
That is very true. And Troi, you also mentioned Chelsea Green, who I could totally see that happening as well if you link with her.
Yeah, that's all vibe.
All vibe. Oh, such a great conversation. I know we got to wrap it up. This was awesome. We have almost 100 viewing, which is for a Saturday afternoon. Almost 300. We're at 281, which is just unreal.
Wow.
Yay!
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad.
Love this. So thank you all so much for watching. We should do this again because I feel like there's so much more that could be said. So many more conversations that could be had. And absolutely after Mania, this is something that I think we should definitely touch upon and go to more cons, do cosplay, all that great
Dude,
stuff. I would love
I got a whole
that.
closet full of cosplay stuff, so just let
Oh,
me
we're
know.
ready.
I've never did it
We're
before.
down. We're
Oh,
I've
down.
Troy,
never.
you'd be great, bro. Troy, you'd be great. You can come in there dressed as Shaft. It'd be awesome.
Oh my god,
That's
that'd be fun.
perfect.
I want
That
to. I
is
want to try it.
perfect.
Dude,
Me
it's
too.
fun. It's fun. So one of my favorite memories, and this is what I hope like a WWE World, WWE Access could turn into at some point. One of my
Mhm.
favorite memories is I used to go to Anime Boston all the time. In Anime Boston, they used to hold it at by the Prudential Center, at the convention center over there. Prudential Center is a giant mall. And so during the conventions, you'd go there and you'd see like ninjas like shopping at the Gap next to like old people. You'd go to the food court and then
I
you'd see
love
like all
that.
these giant robots or something sitting there eating food while with normal people, and it felt like a comic book. And I'm like, that's what that's what needs to happen at you
That's
know
so cool.
yeah
I feel like that should
I-
happen every day, but I mean that's just me and my brain.
yeah
That is, we're down. We're down. We got to plan this. I will keep,
Oh, that'll be fire! Actually, oh my god, that'd be fire.
yeah
yes, I will keep you all posted because my hope is to take this panel and take it to other conventions, other events. So stay
yeah.
tuned,
Just
everyone,
throw
for
out just throw out that bat signal. Just throw out that bat
yes,
signal.
Right?
absolutely. And we might have something percolating. So I'll let you all know
Ooh.
very shortly. Yes, that'll be TBD. But thank you, Yolanda. Thank you, Sarath. Thank you, King Troi. This is such a pleasure to have you. We really appreciate it. We know I've said this many times, but seriously, it's WrestleMania season. We appreciate you being here. It's a super hectic time. Congratulations on your successes and good luck for the upcoming week for WrestleMania 41 in Vegas.
Yeah.
Have fun. Any parting thoughts from you all before we bid goodbye to our wonderful viewers today?
No,
Um,
just thanks again for like creating this kind of platform. It's never been done before again, and just to be a part of it with such legends like yourselves, of course, Sarath, Yolanda, Candace, the coordinator, the chef of it all.
Mhm.
Just thank you for the opportunity to, speak.
Yeah, for me, it's thank you to everyone tuning in for taking an interest and having an appreciation for what we do. Yeah, if you guys run across me in during Mania Week, please feel free to say hi. I'm open to talk to anyone. My eyes might be like half this because I'm like half tired and just dead, no sleep. But if you see me, please stop me and introduce yourself. I'll appreciate that
Don't
a lot.
say nothing to me. I will beer mace you. Give me 50 feet. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing.
That's who he's like, no.
I'm playing.
Oh
I'm
dear.
dead.
Oh, hilarious. That's hilarious.
Real
Nah.
awkward.
Oh God.
No.
Oh, that was a good one. Oh, that's a good one. And it's so crazy. I'm the opposite. So I won't be at Mania this week. Next year I'll be at NOLA. But it's crazy, Troy, because I'm used to people just stopping me, swinging me, giving me a hug. It's wild. I need a merch table with some 8x10s at this point. So it's
Seriously. Seriously.
bare face.
That should be it.
Um,
Con for
I do want to say thank you, Candace, and I think thank you, Candace, for creating this dream team that you put together. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody who has supported us, not just today but along the way.
Yeah.
Every week.
It's yeah, the
everyone.
amount of gratitude I know that I have for people following my journey. Trust me, I remember. My memory ain't that bad. I remember everybody who supported me through the good and the bad and all that stuff. And so, just keep looking out for all of us because we're just getting started. We about to do some more amazing things in the next chapter.
Yes.
I agree.
Love that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Thank you all
Working
for
with the legends, the goats.
the goats. All of you are goats too. Thank you, Yolanda.
Yeah, thank you, Candace. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We're gonna do this again. And
Oh
thank you
yeah.
all joining us. Thank you, Pat, for holding it down with AV. If you're still watching, thank you for doing all that you've done during the actual event last month. We appreciate you all. And thank you all for watching. Please follow Yolanda, Sarath, and King Troi on social media, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure that you tune in for, which I'm sure you all will, for WrestleMania week to see if you spot any of King Troi's looks and Sarath Ton's designs, and give them a shout out. Share your flowers,
Yes.
let them know what you think, and also keep tuned for what Yolanda has cooking in the future. Once again, I'm Candace Cordelia from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Make sure that you pick up the latest issue of PWI. It just came out, the WWE Era issue. Digital is out now, and then the physical will be out in newsstands very shortly. We have a lot in store for you there, and there will be more surprises on that front also. So thanks again for tuning in. Bless you all. Have a great weekend and happy WrestleMania season. We'll see you soon.
Peace.
Bye.
See you guys in Vegas.
Bye.
Nichos.